So there's a reason why the books that we believe in are the books that we believe in. And if you go into it, it's a little more complicated than this, but simply, the law was first. So before the law, there was no other books, right, or oral traditions. They wrote them on tablets in Deuteronomy. You have them in different places. So once you've got the law, the ones written probably mostly, if not all, by Moses, except for the part about his death, because he couldn't write about his death because then he'd be dead. But he was the most humble man alive, and he did write about that, so I made sure to get that in. That's a scripture. Anyway. So you've got the Jewish leaders, and they're trying to decide what is the next scripture to put in the books, right? They get the prophets. So in order for the prophets, any of those books in the prophets category, to fit into your scripture, it would have to agree with the law, because God doesn't lie, God is holy, etc. Right? So then later time passes and we've got the writings, and the writings have to agree with both the prophets and the law. Are we tracking? Okay? So first, in order to get in here, the second would have to agree with the first. The third would have to agree with the second and the first. Right? If you're agreeing with the second, you're automatically agreeing with the first. The second agrees with the first. Okay? Am I losing anybody? 1, 2, 3. Okay, perfect. Now we've got the Gospels. And the Gospels would agree with all 3 of the previous ones. Right? Now we've got the letters, and letters would of course agree with all 4 behind it, and then the prophecy agrees with everything. If you look at the book of Revelation and see how many times it references other scriptures, it's insane. It's kind of like Daniel. There's so much in that book. If you go into it, don't take my word for it. Go ahead and do the study yourself. But you can find this. So for us to know why we believe what we believe, and also why we don't canonize other books, that's another story. Why don't we have certain books within our scripture? This is why. It's got to agree. It's got to agree with itself, because God doesn't lie, and the scripture is true.